How many of you know your old primary question and you understand a lot of where challenges come from in your life, your old primary question?
Tony Robbins!
In the process of doing primary question, closed eye process, a lot of exercises we do here are based on pleasure and pain. And when you do that, when you put a lot of pain and you magnify it, you like reject your guidance, you reject that God inside you that like was doing good things for you. And when you do it consistently, you're kind of like create uncertainty for the future. Because like if you reject your past, how can you really like live in the future?
So your first limiting belief is that if I look at consequences in the past that I contributed to, that somehow that's showing that God did something wrong. What need are you trying for so hard right now? I want all of you to notice which need he's trying to meet. Shout it out quick. Everybody in the room knows it but him. What he's really saying is, I got myself, I felt certain, and then you asked me a question, and that question made me think this, and then I felt uncertain, and then I felt this way. You're addicted to certainty. This is all about you trying to be certain. And then you're making up a whole f***ing story about it. So here's the truth. God is available all the time. God's through you, breathing through you. There are no mistakes if we learn from them. But if we don't learn from them, they are mistakes, and we will have another one. God doesn't interfere with your choices. You can override God's flow. Is there value in every experience? I believe 100%. Is life always happening for us? I believe 100%. But how it happens for us is we figure out how to use it. It's like faith without works is dead, my friend. If it's just going to be, I have faith and I'm not going to do anything, those are the people that keep saying, God's going to save me, and they send the helicopter and they send the bus and they send the boat and they die. That's what you're doing right now out of your need for certainty. So you don't need to play this black and white, this or that game, right or wrong. You are living in what color right now? The same level of consciousness that created his pain will not solve it. That's why he's still in pain. But notice he wants to find an external reason for it. He said, I followed the instructions, and the instructions made me do this, which denies God. Which color is that? Shout it out loud. There are 6,000 people, and everybody in this room knows it but you, because you're in blue. Right, wrong, good, bad. Life is not black and white, my friend. There are so many shades. You don't want any duality, because duality makes you uncertain. But duality is part of life. Two things can be true at the same time, but you want it to be only one way. You want the simple route. And God is calling you right now by making you uncomfortable to make you wake the f up that life is more complex than this simple little thing you want to do so you can settle for certainty, because you're a much more powerful man than that. But you're settling, so you're being called right now to the adventure, and where you can still succeed and not live in pain. But you can't do it by hanging on to dear life to try to make everything fit your box. That's blue. And there's nothing wrong with the blue, it's beautiful. There are principles to blue, there's loyalty in blue, there's a commitment to a higher standard in blue, there's a commitment to God in blue, but the limitations to blue and the reason you eventually grow beyond blue, where blue is still part of you, but you're not making it dominate, is it takes everything and reduces it to this or that. And life is not this or that. And God is not so limited as this or that. But if you're blue, you believe it does, and you get very uptight, a lot of tension in your body if you think anything other than that. Because blue is about certainty first. It's an extension. Purple's got to try to find a way to get some certainty, so purple does it by what? Rituals, the tribe, being around, finding someone to protect me. Red finds certainty in its anger and domination. And it now wants not just certainty, it wants significance. The only reason you leave red to go to blue is because either a bigger red comes along, a bigger warrior, a more intense one, or you're aging, or you've done everything you know how to do as that king. There's got to be more. So the more is hereafter. I don't want you to be king now, I want to be king forever. I want to be the red dominant forever. So how do I do that? What are the rules for doing that? And now it's about certainty and significance and a little bit of connection, but only connection to what complies with those rules. And everything else is judged as harshly as you judge yourself, my friend. That's the problem. You're not judging the process. You want to judge something because you judge yourself so much, and that's what makes you most uncertain. So you can't solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that created it. So what would be the next level of consciousness for you?
This is the level of certainty I've never experienced before. I'm not afraid of talking to you like I used to be afraid of, like standing up. And I'm not afraid of like disagreeing with I think what you just said.
Yeah.
I think certainty, Blue definitely drives this because like I have a PhD from Stanford and I really like dug into your work and like build my own system, right? And then I found it was a logical contradiction that my mind found during this process.
Yes. Well, there's going to be contradictions when your operating principle is it's this or that, good or bad, right or wrong. Whereas in a different level of consciousness, you wouldn't see it contradictory at all. You'd say, oh, this is a complementary because God is providing all this for me and I'm making choices. And by my seeing consequences, my brain could say, no, we're not going to go there. That's how my brain's learned everything so that I stay in center with God. It wouldn't be a contradiction at all in a different level of consciousness, but in Blue, everything's a contradiction. It doesn't match the exact rules you have that give you absolute certainty that you're enjoying so much right now. By the way, Blues are very certain. Blues are not afraid. They'll go to war with other people. They'll kill people over the name of God. That's how certain they are. So certainty is not evidence of spiritual evolution. It's the ego hanging on for dear life. Ego is fear. And so the contradiction here is to try to find certainty by hanging on to a model of the world that he's developed now that makes him feel more certain, so he's pulled towards it because it makes him feel good. So anything contradicts it, we should get rid of. Everybody in the room can see where you are but you, because when you're in it, you're like a fish in water and you're addicted to it. So it doesn't matter what we say. Blues will sit there in the face of absolute reality and deny it, even die on, the cross for it. I'm not talking about Jesus, I'm talking about somebody saying this is what's true and that's how it's going to be. I'm not here, I don't kick people to the whole. I just give it available for you if you're willing to see the insight, but you're not right now. Because man, are you hanging on to your certainty. But love is a lot more powerful. So is growth, and there's no growth available in Blue, not beyond where you are right now. Blue has been growth for you from where you were, that's why you like it. I think that's fantastic. So stay in your Blue, and you'll have continued contradictions and inner battles and fights. And that's okay. Eventually you get tired of that and you move up. People don't move to another level of consciousness till they pretty much have to. That's why most people in a lifetime, according to Graves, I didn't agree with this, but having spent decades doing it now, most people in a lifetime move one level to max. So I'm going to arm myself and protect myself with certainty of this is how it is. And that wall that protects you is the one that's imprisoning you, my friend. I know it feels good right now. It won't eventually. And I don't care what color you're in, I think they're all valuable. I would just like you to have a position of choice because then you're going to have a much better life. If you can move, like I said earlier, like if there was a fire in here, I'm not going to go green. If I'm going to be with a friend, I'm not going to be orange and try to, trade. I'm going to be in my green. If I'm dealing with a business shark, I bring out my orange, right? The ability to move between them. I move to my yellow so that I don't have to just do it based on hierarchy or the system. The system's constantly changing based on different elements that are available. Or I'm in turquoise if I'm fortunate enough and I can just feel everything. And I know the perfection of it, including this evolution in this moment. So the goal is not to peg you. The goal is to free yourself to be able to move up and down. And that will give you more than protection, that will give you freedom. It shows total weakness inside you. It shows fear. And there's nothing wrong with having fear and weakness. But the cure for weakness is pushing through the pain of uncertainty and being open to something else instead of being so locked into what will make you feel good. And you're doing a great job in your body right now. I'm seeing you making those adjustments, letting go of some of the tension in your body. Because I'm on your side. Where is Blue awesome to use?
Like you said, business and I think business and technology is where I am. Like Blue is everything. Like Elon Musk is using Blue like every single day, scientific method, right? That's why he was able to figure out how to like buy Twitter up front and then like...
Blue is not the scientific method. Blue is a set of rules that someone told you and you just accepted them. The scientific method is you go out and test it, but this is how married you are to blue. You've made up qualities for blue that don't exist. The scientific method is when you're in blue, you're following these rules blindly so you can be certain and know you're a good enough person and everything's right and it's all going to be there and anybody else is wrong, right? And you defend yourself from those people. Orange goes, I'm so tired of living something someone else taught me years ago. I want my own experience of God. Let me try something, let me test, let me see. That is not blue.
I agree. It was probably an overstatement.
No what? Blue.
Overstatement.
No, it's called false, not an overstatement. There's no ounce of blue that is the scientific method. In fact, you can't use the scientific method and stay blue. You can in some other contexts, but not here. It's completely opposite consciousness. And by the way, people get stuck in orange then, where everything I have to test and prove and compete to know. And if I do better than someone else, then that's the right one. But you can do better than someone else, and it might be the right one for the moment, but not sustainable. And then somebody gets stuck in green, right? We're all equals. And then nothing gets done because we're not all equals. You're superior to me in some ways, I'm gonna be superior to you in some ways. That's a fact because you've lived a different life than I have. I look like a kindergartner to you. And you might look that way to me when you do with your levels of consciousness. But I don't look at you that way. I look at you as my brother who's going through the same steps I've gone through, just in a different way, at a different time, in a different phase. I'm not 37 anymore. My blue was earlier than that for me, but I certainly had the blue too, buddy.